Hello everybody, I had this very interesting conversation with Axel from Hitfilm when I was assuming that probably the minimum system requirements for your PC would be set too low by Hitfilm Express, so that you actually need a more stronger machine to actually do at least the minimum editing and compositing work in Hitfilm Express. So we had this very nice discussion, as I said, and what he attended me on, and I actually never looked at it that way, was that before you even upgrade or even think about upgrading your computer in order to do faster, smoother editing, is that you first would want to have a look if the video format that you're working in is an editing format or a delivery format. And I actually have to say that I never looked at it again, because you see, if we do this talking head videos, it's a totally different piece of cake of working. The file size are small and it's just a couple of minutes. But if you are really going into the filmmaking and you want the highest quality and everything to the max, you just need to think about things as that. And it's very important to know how this all works. So what he came up with was that you have in fact two different types of files. Of course, there are a lot of file formats, but we can group them into intraframe and into interframe formats. And interframe formats are for delivery. The file size in the end are very small, and this is what we want when we want to play the footage in certain players or the end product in certain players, and we don't want to have them to take too much space on a hard disk. You don't want to have it hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes taking place on your hard disk, and you want it so compact and compressed as possible, while during editing you want it as uncompressed as possible. And the reason for this is in fact that if you take intraframe, so for example, let's start with a very easy example. So let's say you have this talking head video from me, and you could agree that if I now wave my hand, that the difference between all these frames that you saw until now are not that large. So for the delivery format, it wouldn't be necessary to have every frame contain the same information, because the information is very similar. So what the compressed formats do is they actually rip off everything out of the frame that is different from the frames before, from the keyframe. So for example, in a 42 frames per second, and we would have a second, we would have one keyframe, for example, what is completely the frame. Every information, every pixel is in that frame, and the frames that follow just will have the differences between the first frame. So it will probably be so that you see the head in the first frame, and in the next frames you see the different versions of the hand waving. This makes this following frames in bite size so much smaller that you can pack this into a much lower sized video file. So this would be a compressed video file, and we talk here about files like, for example, xvid, divx, etc., MPEG-2, MP4, the H.264.264, and then the VP6, 7, and 8. And when it comes to editing, we want to have every frame have the full information on it, and what this results in, that this 24 frames per second would be, every frame would have the complete information on it, so that would be nothing would be left out to refer back to the first one. No, everything was every pixel would be in the footage, and nothing had to be recalculated by the editing program. And I come on that in a second, why this is important. When we have all the information in it, we can easily, even though the size of the footage, the byte size is much bigger. For example, let's say you have a 10-second video what now isn't just 25 megabytes on your hard disk. No, it's 350 megabytes on your hard disk, because you have every single frame and every single bit and pixel and everything in the footage, totally uncompressed. The advantage for your editing software is, even though that it has the larger file and you need more memory, a little bit more memory, you can easily go forward and backwards or directly to a certain frame nearly without any delay. So you will not have the situation that it's stuttering while editing and making weird noises and weird stuff happens. What happens if you use delivery format like just say DivX or MP4 and so forth, is that when you have your keyframe and then you want to fast forward to a certain frame and edit there, then your editing software has to go back to the keyframe and has to recalculate everything what is missing in that frame, so that it's in fact rendered in real time and put back together. And this can cause a huge delay. It can cause stuttering in your editing process, and it can cause your system to crash without a warning. So before you even consider upgrade, of course always interesting to upgrade and spend thousands of dollars and everything, but if you can avoid it, just avoid it and spend your money otherwise. So if you choose the perfect file format, there is no need for that. And there are also codecs that are very that are very interesting to install and very free. It's AvidD and XHD. I put a link to it into the description below. You can use it in, for example, Sony Vegas, or there are programs to convert to other formats, like I have to peek because this program was installed on my machine, but it didn't work. Sorry for the short delay. It's MPEG Stream Clip. It doesn't work on my machine, but I work with this Avid, just like I just said, this DNxHD, and then I can go in Sony Vegas, for example, render my MPEG 4, and then have finally a QuickTime movie file that I then can edit in Hitfilm without any problems. So yeah, I hope this information helps. Was probably a little bit chaotic, a little bit much in one time. Just watch this video again. Hope this helped you a little bit. So thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead. If it helped, please share this video and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, goodbye. Thanks for watching.